I'm sure you've heard of sinking funds, but do you really know what they are? More importantly, are you incorporating them into your budget? Don't worry, I'm giving you the lowdown on all things sinking funds. Hi everyone, my name is Rhea Reeves. I am founder and finance coach at City Girl Savings. I teach women how to create and stick to realistic budget plans to reach whatever goal they have. You can learn more about me at citygirlsavings.com or subscribe to my YouTube channel. So let's talk about sinking funds. I'm sure you've heard the term. I'm sure you have a general understanding of what they actually are, but I want to make sure that you are aware of the most important things you need to know about sinking funds. So let's dive in. First and foremost, what is a sinking fund? Basically, a sinking fund is a way to save money for something specific by setting aside a set amount of money every single month to help you reach that goal. So you are going to put a specific amount of money into a fund, aka savings account, dedicated to a specific goal. So for example, you could have a travel sinking fund. So let's say that you have a trip scheduled for a year from now and you want to start saving for it now. You would create a travel sinking fund and you would dedicate a savings account just for that sinking fund or an envelope that you save cash in, however you want to do it, and you would put a set amount of money or small amount of money into that fund, that envelope, that account every single month to help you cover the cost of that expense. Now, you don't necessarily have to contribute a specific amount. However, if you know exactly what your expense is going to cost you, it just makes sense to save a specific amount every single month to help you reach that goal by the time you need to pay for it. However, contribute what you can. Anything's better than nothing. So there's no set rule on how much you should be contributing to your sinking funds every month. You just want to contribute something to help you cover the cost. And there is no limit on the number of sinking funds a person can have. So as long as you have room for it in your budget, and I'll talk about how to figure that out, you can save for as many things as you want. Now, before I get into how to get started with sinking funds, let's just talk about some of the most common ones that you may want to incorporate into your budget. So think holidays and events. We know Christmas happens every year, so why not have a Christmas sinking fund? Birthdays are another thing that we know will happen every single year. So if you have people in your life that are very close to you that you celebrate their birthdays, you can create a birthdays or event sinking fund to help cover the costs. Car and home repair or costs, so car costs or home costs, car repairs or home repairs. That's another thing that's almost inevitable. Now, this is a great example of a fund that doesn't necessarily need a specific amount every month because it varies and you never know when you'll actually need it. Another example is travel. So whether you have a specific trip planned or not, if you know you love to travel like I do, you may want to just create a sinking fund just for travel, even if you don't have a trip planned. I have one, and I know when I am ready to book a trip, already having funds in that account dedicated towards my trip makes my life so much easier. And then another example would be annual expenses. So if you pay for certain things maybe once or twice a year, having a sinking fund for those expenses can make your life a lot easier. So there is no limit on how many sinking funds you can have. There is no limit on what types of sinking funds you can have. Just find whatever works best for your situation. Now let's talk about getting started with sinking funds because you may be feeling like, well, my budget is tight enough as it is. How do I go ahead and start saving for more things? Let's start by thinking about what your sinking funds will actually be. So maybe start with one or two, right? You can always add more later once you get used to actually contributing to sinking funds, but think about one or two sinking funds that would be most applicable to your situation and have that specified. Then determine how much you'll actually need for that sinking fund goal. So let's say that your sinking fund is going to be Christmas and you've decided that you want to spend $1,000 on gifts. Well, now you know that it's June, right? And Christmas is in December, so you have 6 months to save $1,000. That means you should ideally be putting $200 a month towards that sinking fund. So start by thinking of what your sinking fund is, determine how much you'll need to reach that sinking fund goal, if anything, and then determine exactly what you'll need to save every single month to help you reach that goal when it's due. Now, if you don't have enough money to save for your sinking fund, consider cutting back certain categories in your budget to help you save a little more. Or think of ways you can make more money so that you can actually save for the sinking fund. Here's the reality of a Christmas sinking fund, for example. It's going to happen, right? It's coming. And unless you're absolutely turning down getting gifts for people, you are likely going to spend money on it. So make your life as easy as you possibly can by saving for it as early as you possibly can. Even if it's a small amount, $5 a month, that will add up and will help as the time comes to spend money on Christmas gifts. And then lastly, if you need to, depending on the fund, consider extending your timelines for when you need the money. Now, this could apply for things like travel, right? Maybe you can push your trip out a year so that you know it's covered, paid for in cash. You don't have to use credit. Where that applies, go ahead and consider extending your timeline so you don't have to save as much every single month to reach that sinking fund goal. So there you have it, everything you need to know about sinking funds, or at least the most important things you need to know about sinking funds. If you have questions, don't hesitate to shoot me a note and let me know. One thing I do want to share is that we have the third annual Summer Savings Challenge happening June 21st. I am so excited. I actually created a sinking fund for this challenge, and I know exactly how much I need to save to reach the goal. I'm doing it through Digit, so I would highly recommend you do that too, but however you want to do it, this could be a great way to start using sinking funds. So I hope you join in. I will definitely link to the challenge registration so you can get in there, and I can't wait to see you there. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.